Need, value, conditions. Opportunity is the combination of need plus value plus conditions. And it's when you have that trifecta that you win. So let's look at a need. Kodak recognized a need. People didn't like film. It was damaged in floods and overexposed, so they created value, which is the first digital camera. Not what you want to lug to the soccer match, but at least they were on the right track, right? But the conditions weren't right. Not when they started. These were the conditions at the time of launch. You had to lug that big TV console away from the wall and start plugging things in, and people still had punch cards. Clearly, the conditions weren't right. So that opportunity stalled for a time. You've probably all seen stalled opportunities. Oftentimes they happen at the best companies because you're ahead of the market. So when you hear that phrase, well, we tried that, right? We tried that, it didn't work. Be sure you're not forgetting to reassess the conditions once in a while. Technical conditions could make something feasible that wasn't feasible before. Market conditions could make something attractive that wasn't attractive before. So how do we create value? Well, obviously, technology is one. But we also create value through our brand and our design. So it's really how we express that value. And then we create value through our business model. How many of you thought that business models were only supposed to create value for you? Well, yeah, they are. They're supposed to create new revenue and new margins. But if they don't create value for your customers, they're probably not going to work, right? So iPod, iTunes created value for us. That's why it created value for Apple. So lots of ways to create value. And needs, they show up in the market. That's an obvious place. But needs also show up in the environment. We need to be more green. We need to have more sustainable products for the sake of the environment. But regulators, regulatory agencies, they're very demanding, right? Well, demanding, when my kids are demanding, they're kind of like needy. So I just figure all those regulatory agencies are kind of needy as well. And then your own organization can be kind of demanding, right? The organization has needs for revenue, for training, for good culture, for growth, for speed. And so lots of different needs we have to consider. And we really need to be thinking about all of these, not just the market and the technology. And you'll notice there's actually in the book, it talks about the tensions between this, technology to market, expression, environment, and so forth. Okay, so we need to be thinking about all these needs because if the opportunity doesn't meet needs within our organization as well as in our market, it's not going to fly. The conditions stretch across all of these. Each one of these is a landscape. There's a technology landscape, a brand landscape, a business model landscape, and so forth. And then smack dab in the center is letter C, which does not stand for conditions. It stands for the consumer or customer. Because while we think about large groups, we also have to think about the individual. And that's really sometimes the difference between market research and insight is really getting down to that individual and understanding those insights.